Hi everyone, welcome to Happy Place Creations and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to make a set of coasters using my homemade inlays, and these are snowmen. These will be available in my eBay store, and you do get a set of 6. So we will be placing these in the coasters today. So we will be putting a border around and then placing the inlay in the coaster, and I will be showing you how to do that. So please stay tuned. I will be right back. Alrighty, I have a few things sitting in front of me. One is my eyebrow switching sponge, and what this does is I can use one color and I can take my brush and I can just wipe off the color, and then I can go right to the next color. Wipe off my brush and go to the next color. So that's what that is. Now my colors I have picked out are the Rolo collection, California Poppy in the orange, and I thought I could use this for his nose. Next, again, is the Rolo pigments, Sweet Rose, and I thought I could use that for his cheeks. Again, the Rolo collection is the Vornet Blue, and I thought I could use this for the strip on his hat and his scarf. And of course, I'll show you each time I color to show you the results. And the next one, I have chose the salmon pink, and I have chose that one for, let me see, I don't know, because I have this for his nose, this for his cheeks. Excuse the beeping, that's my mat. I have picked it for something. I guess I'll know as we go. I have also picked out the Rolo Egyptian green for the little leaves that are in his hat. Oh, that's what I picked that for. The berry in his hat. That's what the Alaskan pink was the berry in his hat. And the Egyptian green was for the little leaves in his hat. And then I picked the snowflake white of the Rolo collection for his overall, his face. And then I chose the Let's Resin black for his mouth and his eyes. So again, I'll tell you what color I'm using and for what as we go. So I will be coloring 4 of these total, but I'm going to do one with you, and then I will fast forward the other 3. So here we go. So I am first going to concentrate on his hat and work down. So this is the Egyptian green by Rolo, and I'm going to be doing the berries and the leaf in his hat. And I have the molds set off to the side right now. And I will have to do a cleanup in between. Now these inlays are made out of the Let Resin Silicone, which is a 15 strength. They are very durable, and they will last a long time. All you need to do is just make sure you use them after your usage. Clean them off with a little bit of soap and water, and they'll be ready to go. If you happen to have any silicone that's stuck to them, you can just use a piece of tape, and that will help clean them up before you wash them up. Now see, it's very staticky, so your mica powder will jump. As you can see, the mica powder spreads. So I will have to do a little bit of cleanup as far as before I put on the next color. So I'm going to blow it off, and then I will clean up that area. And I will just use my little switching sponge to clean off the color so that I can use it in the next one. So you can either use a cotton ball and a little bit of alcohol, which you can use a sprayer and spray it on, but I use a little thing that they use at a cosmetic counter. So I just use a little bit of cotton alcohol on a cotton swab, or you could use a mica brush, or you could actually take a paintbrush and put it in a little bit of alcohol and use that as well, because the alcohol will just evaporate, and you don't want to wash off what you just put on in that area. But you, as you know, as you're coloring it, you want to use a little bit of alcohol. That is fine. But like I said, you want to make sure that you use some soap and water to do a final cleanup before you put this away in its storage case. Each one of my inlays do come with their own storage case for easy storage. And to help protect them from dust or anything, because you know, once you've cleaned it up, you don't want to have to wash it again just to use it. This way you can throw it in its case and just store it, and it's ready for the next use. And this is a micro brush. If, for those of you who doesn't know. And there we go. It's all ready for the next color, which is the berry. And I think I got this salmon pink for the berry. Yeah, because I wanted the sweet rose for his cheek. Doesn't look like I've used this color before, but that looks like orange, doesn't it? But we're going to use it anyway. All we need is just a little drop. Just for that berry that's on his hat. Oh, I wiped it off. Right there. Blow off the extra. I dabbed off most of the alcohol just now. And that pink, that color does not show up very well. So I'm just blowing on it to dry it off a little bit, so I could put it top off with another little bit of color. There, that looks better. And I blow it off. And then I go back in and just clean off the excess that I don't want. This is why I said I was going to do one with you, and then I'll fast forward doing the other three. Because it is time consuming just doing one. Because you want your items to look good. Alrighty, so there's one. That part. So I am just going to set my colors over here. I probably should put the covers with them so that I do know what they are. So I wanted the blue because there's a band on his hat, and I wanted that to match his scarf. Can't believe I've never used that blue before. Such a pretty blue. Just going to set some in between these two flowers here, two leaves, because that is his band between his hat. Like so. Almost matches my nails. And now the cleanup. And if you wipe some off by mistake, you can just go and put it right back on. And you want to try not to get any on the back, because that would prevent it from sticking on the back. But we're going to be putting our space down. And there we go. So far, so good. So while I have the blue, no, I don't want to get that far ahead. So we'll just set that right there. And so we're going to be doing the black now for his hat. And this one is the Let's Resin black. Don't want to get colors on my fingers. And then spread it out onto the project. Taking the color off with my eye brush pad here. Now, wherever there's already mica powder will not stick. Just so you know that, in case you didn't. For my new people that are out there, and I want to say hello to my new subscribers. Thank you very much for joining. That helps out my channel immensely. And would like to take a moment to tell any of you that haven't subscribed to please subscribe. Just blowing it off. And now I'm going for the bottom half of his hat before I go to his face. Aren't these colors beautiful? Oops, I got a bubble right there. That does happen. Thank God these are mine. These are my demos. I can assure you yours will not go out with bubbles. And I'm blowing it off. I have something new to show you today. Whoops. It came in yesterday. If I can get it out from underneath up here. Look at this. Now this goes around my neck, like so, and I can hold this right in front of me while I am working on things, and this is an awesome magnifier. I was trimming some inlays this morning, and this is how it comes. I have a second one as well, but this is how it comes in the box. Let me move that. I don't want to tip that over. But this is how it comes wrapped in the box. And let me tell you, this makes a difference. For the detailed work that I do, this makes a difference. Alrighty, back to the project at hand. Clean off the brush. Now I need to clean up his face. Clean it up so that we can put the white on and his eyes on, his cheeks, nice little pink cheeks. Although I don't know if Frosty had pink cheeks. I probably should have looked that up before I did this video. But you know, my Frosty's going to have pink cheeks. It's been a long time since I watched Frosty the Snowman. Or Rudolph, or any of them, and I probably should. And there we go. Now you just want to give the alcohol a few seconds to dry. And then we can move on to the next color, which is going to be, I am going to do his eyes, nose, and his cheeks before I do his face. So I need to open the white. I just need to take care of something real quick. There we go. And these colors are so vibrant out of this Rolo collection. I absolutely love these colors. This is actually my second collection, my second time I purchased them, because they are so beautiful. Alright, so we are going after, let's go after his nose next. His little carrot nose. Blow off the extra. Let's make sure I've gotten all of his nose. Then I'll go in and do some cleanup. I actually could probably do his cheeks as well and then do the cleanup, because I never touched his cheeks. So let's go in here and do his little pearly cheeks, his little pink cheeks. And I apologize if my hand's getting in your way. Always remember to blow off the extra before you clean up. That way you know you're going to get your extras off. And I like to wipe off my micro brush from the excess powder. I may need to get a new one. Yeah, let's just get a new one. There we go. Let's get his eyes clean so we can get that black on there. Get around these cheeks. Now, if you're ever doing a project and you're having a hard time to get the mica powder to stick, you can always mix it with a little bit of alcohol and make like a paste. And then your mica powder will stick and the alcohol will just evaporate and the mica powder will stay behind. I'm going to use a Q-tip instead. Clean this a little bit off. That's from me blowing it off. It kind of like goes everywhere. How you guys liking the fact I'm using a tray? I get these on Amazon. I have the tray and then I buy these silicone pads. The cleanup is easy. And the tray helps me know that I'm in your frame or not. Where I am zoomed in so much because the camera's right there. And I actually have a mini tray holder like they have in the kitchen at the schools that they serve our food on when we're kids. I used to be a lunch lady. That's where this idea came from. So I can do a project and just slide it in, put it on the heat mat, or if it needs longer, it's like my drying tray. I used to sew until I found resin. This is so relaxing. Sewing is relaxing as well, but this is so fun, the stuff I can create. And the artwork you can create. I've done the curtain thing, and the quilt thing, and the doll furniture, and the diaper cakes, and the beanie babies, and the baby shower decorations, and I've done all that. But this, just, it's endless. And I just love it. I absolutely love being this creative on a different level. It's just a different level. So I would like anybody, if they could write in the comments, to please tell me how their experience is going with the resin. Excuse me, I have to blow that off. And this is what we have so far. So I just need to finish up his mouth now, and to finish up his face with the white, and then I will go on and do the rest, and then we will do the coaster. So let's figure out what we're going to do as far as his mouth and his eyes. Let's try this. I don't know if that worked very good. I don't think that's working so good. So, we are going to go to a different idea. Let's wipe this off. And we are going to try something different. Now, I have these colored pens. They are... I have chrome markers, deco colored. I don't know if I have any black. So we are going to try these are dual tip markers. That is for my diamond art. These are awesome picking up. I'll save that for another video. I have a dark gray here. Now these are metallic ink. They're made by Ink Lab. So am going to paint on his eyes. Just testing it over here to the side to make sure it's painting. And then we're going to do his mouth the same. Like so. And that will just have to dry a little bit before I can put the white on. And this is what we have so far. So I'm going to give that a few minutes to dry before I decide to paint the final white. And then I will leave that right out because I'm going to need that for the other ones. In fact, I probably should paint that on before I do the rest. Before I do the other colors on the rest of them. But I'm going to let that have a few minutes to dry. And then I will be back to finish with the white. So I shall return in just a moment. And I'm hoping that's going to work. So let's do the white for his face now that everything else is dry and ready to go. We'll just get his white on his face and blow it off. And try not to. I bet he uses a different brush. I don't want to cover anything I've already covered. Because anything you've already covered and you put white on it, it will make it look lighter. Like the black will become gray. The pink will become lighter pink. The orange on his nose will become lighter. So I'm just trying to go around his features right now. Because wherever there's already mica powder, this powder won't stick. I just blow off the extra, and our first one is finished. Oops, sorry. And there's our very first inlay. And now I will proceed to go and color the other ones, but I will do that in fast forward. Alrighty, now we have our 4 snowmen all ready to go. Now we have to get our coasters ready. It doesn't look like I cleaned that one too good. Got just a little bit of not resin, but mica powder left on the edge. Anyway, I think I'm going to use that same blue that's on his scarf for our edging, because that's an awful pretty color. So I'm going to mix up some resin, and I am going to get this poured on the edges, because this is a raised edge, and we will get that filled in, let that cure, and then we will go to the next step. So I shall be right back with some resin. Alrighty, I have the resin all mixed up, and this is that fast cure resin I got from Temu. I will put a picture on the screen. Just as clear and like water. 40-minute work time. It's a very nice resin. So now we're going to add our color. Let's get these out of the way because I don't want to get powder in them. And we are using this Voronezh blue from Rollo. I will put it on the screen because I'm not that good with words. You never want to put your utensil that you use to stir your product in your, that you use to stir your resin in your product, because you can contaminate it and it can harden in your powders. I think that's going to be enough. I usually like to put my powder in first, but can't always do that. So you want to mix your mica powder in a little bit of resin and then mix it in. But this stuff is so thin that it just mixes in so nice. And see how I can still see my tongue depressor? That means it's thin. So that means we need a little bit more powder. So I'm just going to put in a nice good new scoop. Set it aside. And mix it up some more. And after a few minutes, if you still see clumps, you can break them up on the side of the cup like this. That just helps to break it up. But you want to scrape the sides of your cup and the bottom. Typically the way you mix your resin, the same way. Now on my last coaster video, I showed you how to use a syringe to fill the edge. Today I'm going to show you how to do it with one of these. That is an eyedropper. So I'm just waiting to see how the mica powder is going to mix in. That looks like a good consistency. So I'm just waiting to see if any mica powder is going to float to the top that isn't mixed in. So basically you just want to let it sit for a minute or so, because any powder that's not mixed in will float to the top. And that will give you an opportunity to break it up. but it actually looks like it's mixed in pretty good. So I think we are good to go. It is kind of chilly here in Maine, so I've had my resin sitting in a nice warm bath separately in its jars, and then I mix it. So it's good. It's at room temperature at least. So now I'm going to set up my molds. Let's get this out of the way before I spill it, as I am known to do. Get our molds set up now. And I'm going to get these out of the way for right now because we don't need them at this stage. And I'm just going to spray a little bit of alcohol around the edge to help with bubbles. And then I'm going to fill up my eyedropper. And then I'm going to put it right down inside. If I make a mess, that's fine. I can clean it up. Now I'm going to let that settle and move on to the next one. And I didn't spray it, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I did mix up 3 ounces. Let that settle and see if that's enough. Move on to the next one. If I can get my little squirt gun here to work. It is a little temperamental, my little squirt gun, but it works, it has a purpose, it works it when it wants. And we'll let that level out, and it'll go from there. And again, I made up way too much, but that's alright. We can get some jewelry out of it. I'm making a mess, but that's alright. I can clean that up. I just don't want it to go too far over. That's all. Now I have these, and what I've done is I've cut it so it's flat. See the difference? So that I can just go right around it and scrape off the extra. And yes, I'm getting some on the inside, a little bit on the inside, but that will clean up the tape later on. Or baby white, whichever. I just want my edges to be smooth, bubble free, and not too far over. This is not critical. If it is over a little bit, it's just as long as it's not in the center where the snowman's gonna go. I am a messy girl. If you watch my past videos, then you know I've always said it's like playing in mud puddles with a better result. I don't know any child that wasn't able to play in mud puddles. Alrighty, I'm going to set this over to cure. And as soon as this has cured, then I will be back. And we will do the next layer. But first, I am just going to check my edges to make sure that we have no bubbles. Just go right around it nice and slow. We're pushing out any bubbles that might be there. Now with a round coaster like this, there is two edges. There's an inner edge and an outer edge. And I am going around both very slowly, just to release any air that might be in there. There's the outer edge. And now I'm going to the inner edge. So I'm just helping any trapped bubbles, that air that might be in there, to come out. And then we will let this cure, and then we will go to the next stage. And there we have it. Now we just let it cure, and then we come back, and then we do the next level, next layer. Just cleaning up the middle with a little bit of a baby wipe. That will save on cleanup the next time, but I could do it with a piece of tape as well, once it's dried. Just use a piece of tape, and that would clean off the top. And there we have it. Now once this is cured, I will be back. I am so sorry. I accidentally hit my mouse and didn't realize I wasn't recording when I put the 3 inlays in. But I did mix up the resin again enough to do this last one. But I accidentally hit the button when I went to reach to show you what I was thinking about putting on the back. And that is this. And I thought that would make a nice backing for the snowmen. So here is the resin to do the fourth one. So I will show you how I put in the other three when I accidentally wasn't recording. And I absolutely apologize for that. Sorry, there goes my timer for my resin. It will shut itself off shortly. It is across the room. But this is how I put the inlays in the resin. I took some of the resin and I sprinkled it on top of the inlay. This also helps with preventing bubbles. It kind of fills it up before you put it into the project. This will help get rid of bubbles. And then you just take it and you set it in the project. You don't want to push down because you want to have a clear coating in between your, for the top of your coaster. Now, it appears I had put enough in these, and I didn't think I did, so I made up a lot of resin extra resin that I didn't need to, but I didn't want these to float. But I'm going to add just a little bit more in each one. And then I'm going to go around it to make sure I have no bubbles on my edges. And then I'm going to put this on the heat mat. And once this has cured, I will be back and we will take out the inlay. And then we are going to fill in the inlay. I guess it doesn't matter if they're straight or not because it's round. So it will go with any direction. But we will then do the next layer. So I will move this tray over to the heat mat, and as soon as this has cured, I will be back and we will do the next stage. Hi everyone. Well, our inlays have cured and it's time to pull them out. So let's start with this one. Just want to get underneath one and pull it up slowly till you can get a grip on it, and then slowly pull it out. And there we have it. We have our imprint of our snowman. Now all I need to do is just wash up the edges of my inlay with some warm water and soap and put it in its dust-free case, and it'll be ready for the next use. And the next one, and there we have it. Now I'm going to fill this in with some white. There we go. Just got to clean up my edges, as will be with all of them. And then they'll be ready for my next time. And there we go. And this is how an inlay leaves an imprint. And then you just fill her in. Do any touch-ups that you need to do. I think the face came out pretty good, and that was the only thing I was questioning. Was his eyes and his mouth. Remember I had to use a marker? Because I didn't think the mica powder was going to show up good enough, so I used a marker, which came right off the inlay. Nice. Which is a first for me, because I've never used markers. So I guess we can use markers on these inlays to color them as well. So I will make note of that. So let me just check it all and make sure I have everything the way I want it. Everything looks good on that one. I don't have to touch up his eyes or his mouth or anything. Because at this point, you can actually use mica powder to touch up your inlays. Because you can not even have to color them here. You could put them in, pull them out, and then color them inside here. Which my next video will show you that. So be sure to watch my next video as well. Okay, so I'm going to mix up some resin. And I believe I'm going to use some white. Because if I use black, then the white's going to turn gray. And so all the white's going to do is just lighten up the colors. But I'd rather go with some white than go with dark colors. So I'm going to mix up some resin, and we're going to put in a white backing. So I shall be back as soon as I mix up the resin. Alrighty, I have our resin all mixed up. And it's the same I've been using all along, that fast cure. And I have used a white pigment, which is highly concentrated. And this is by Julie from Pouring Your Heart Out. It's called her Bloom product. And I just tinted it enough so that we're going to have some white behind these snowmen. So all I'm going to do now is just pour it in the cavity. Just filling up the snowman. You don't want to go over the top because we're going to put a background on it. This is a product that Julie uses for her blooms. Oh, I went over on that one, so I got to do some cleanup there. I'm just taking some out. Glad that happened so you guys can see in case this happens to you. I am just taking some out. Till I can get it below that level. And apparently this one is... Whoop, I got that one overfilled too. Well, I want to catch it before it does. I mean, I could use a paper towel to suck it up, but why waste it if I don't have to? I got the time. This has got a 40-minute work time. And once these have cured, I'll be back. And then we will put the final layer on. Let me just get a paper towel. and clean this all right up. On both. Once I've cleaned it up with a paper towel, I'm going to use a baby wipe just to wash off what's left, so that we still get a nice clear finish. Like so. You could also use a paper towel with alcohol. It's whatever your preference is. Now this one must have gone in at an angle. That's why there seems to be more on this end than that end. And that can happen. That one's going to need a little bit of alcohol. Just to wash up this rest that's sitting on here. Because the alcohol will help me to pick up the sediment that's left, but it will also clean this top. And then the alcohol will evaporate, leaving us with a nice flawless finish. So that when we put on our background, it will be clear. There we go. Just like a squeaky glass after you've cleaned your windows. Except I use a newspaper to clean my windows instead of paper towels, because they can leave stuff behind, which I'm trying to avoid here. There we go on that one. Let's see how this one is. I mean, if we're going to put all the time and effort in it, we want to have it look good, right? There we go. Now this one got down in here, and I want to make sure I get it without pulling off my mold. There we go. There we go. Well, that one looks alright, but this one seems to be just a little bit leaning too much this way and not enough towards that way. Just put a stick under it, and that'll help even that out. There we go. Now see, these are all topped off. That's fairly topped off, but this one isn't. And that's kind of bugging me. Let's just try to put a little bit more here. And now we got that one off. Well, I'm going to mess around with this a little bit, and as soon as these are all cured, I will be back. Hi everyone, our coasters are cured. And I took one out already to see what it would look like with the backing with that paper on it. Oops, I'm sorry, I forget. And this is what it would look like with that paper on the back. So I'm debating if I want to put this paper on the back or if I want to put a glitter on the back. So I'm thinking I might want to just unmold these and put a fine glitter on the back. Where these aren't sticky anymore, I'm going to have to put a glue to get the paper to stick and then put a layer on top to get the paper to stick. So I might as well just use a nice fine glitter. So let's unmold these and see how they came out without a backing on them. I got a little overpour here I gotta get off there, but everything looks good otherwise. Let's take this off here while we're looking at it. And it's still somewhat soft, so we can just kind of go slow with our knife and just cut it off. Or you could use your deburring tool. The last thing you want to do is pull. This really isn't cured enough to even be doing it this way. It's still pretty soft. I think I'm going to leave it until it's cured fully. I don't want to ruin it. So let's look at the other two. This one has some over too. That's because I added more clear to bring it level on the back. And there's another one. This is how inlays work. Oh, this one's still sticky. This is cured, but it's still sticky. I think I'm going to leave them a little longer before I do anything more with them. So I think I'm going to take the paper off and use a fine glitter on the back. But I got to let these sit a little bit longer. I'll put them back on the heat mat for a little bit longer. And then I will be back with them. Hi everyone, I'm back. Now, I had set this paper on there and couldn't get it off. So I've left it. Now, I have some air pockets because of the paper. So I've decided I'm going to do some glitter. And this is the same as the paper. So I've decided I'm going to do that. So let's get these covered with a layer of glitter. And I don't have to use any glue because there's nothing there to sink. Because it's going to be such a thin. And I'm actually using that Chin Fast Cure resin. I mixed it up. I put it through the vacuum chamber. So it's as bubble free as I can get it until I've added the glitter. See? Isn't that pretty? Get it all mixed in, get everything coated. Make sure we got a good consistency. And before I get my hands all dirty, I want to show you what I did with some of the extras. I made a necklace and an earring set. And that will go to whoever purchases this set of coasters. And it has a braided neckline necklace that comes with it. So let's get it pouring. Shoot, I needed some clear to seal that in, but I'll do that at a later date. We just want a little bit to go on the top, and then all we want to do is spread it to the edges. We just want to make sure we have enough. We don't want to overdo it, but we just want to take it to the edge. If it starts pulling away from our edges, then we just need to add a little bit more. I do know I'm going to have to do a little bit of sanding to these edges. Where I handled them when they were soft, I kind of left some indents and prints, and so I'm going to have to do some sanding before I can put these on eBay. So it will be a day or two before I can get these on the eBay. Even though the video comes out, it's going to take me a day or two before I can get these online to be purchased. So please do look for them. Just going to add a little bit more, not too much, because I don't want it to all run over. But I do want it thick enough that it's going to be a nice backing. And this is how we do it. Just bring it to our edges, nice and careful. Make sure our edges are covered. If it goes over a little bit, I will catch that when it's done, when I'm sanding. But I'm going to try not to go over. Mix it up, pour some more. Not too much, just enough to get her started. She's spreading pretty well on her own. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my all my subscribers, and I'd like to welcome my new subscribers. Without you guys, I wouldn't have this channel. See, I'm running it over already. Just bring her to the edges. That one went because I poured it in that direction. And I can snap that off when it's cured. What I can't get back on the coaster. That's because I broke the dam, as they say. But it will be all fine and fixed up for whoever decides to purchase this set. I know a lot of people love Snowman. My sister included. She loves Snowmen. I am going to leave that just like it is instead of removing the extra, because it looks like a good coating. This one I'm just not going to dump as much. It's easy to do. Because I want it domed anyway. Going to add a little bit more. And what doming means is you have it above the mold and it's not breaking the dam. It's like curved. If you go down and look from a distance across, you can see that it's just holding its own on the edge. And that's what we call doming. And I've gone over the edge again. But like I said, I'm going to leave it and I will take care of that when I sand the edges. Because I've already broke the dam. Because I can make it worse trying to fix it. As long as it's not going over, we're good. Because if I go and start trying to scoop it out, I can cause it to just dump right off. And that I don't want to do. So we've got it this far. And now I'm going to let it cure. I think my tray is leaning is what's going on. But I will let these cure. And I will be back as soon as they are done. And then we will demold. Hi everyone. These are still a little warm, but I want to get this video out today. But I wanted to show you what they look like. There's going to be some work that's got to be done before I can put these on the listing. So please give me a few days. And this is how it came out. Sorry about the interruption. My son gave me a call. It was my birthday yesterday, and he just wanted to give me a call. So there is one, and as you can see, I still have to do some work to it. So let's look at the next one. Like I said, it's going to take me a few days before I can get these into the store. And here's the next one. I'm sorry, I keep putting that upside down to you. And this one has a little bit work I'm going to have to do as well. And my clippers are on the jewelry counter. And here's the last one. And here's this one. They all came out really nice. I just got to get them trimmed up and get them ready to go. Now this one with the paper, I am going to have to peel this paper off. I'm probably going to have to sand this all down and get that off. And then re-pour the back like I did with this one. So, but give me a little bit and I will have these in the store before you know it. So, this will conclude this video, but I wanted to show you what else I was doing. I don't have the hardware in yet. But this is a necklace and earring set that I am working on. That will be in the eBay store as well. As soon as I get it finished. It's not quite finished yet. So you can look for this in the listings as well. So this does conclude my video for today. And I want to thank all of you for joining me. And I hope everyone is happy and healthy. I hope your crafts turn out amazing. Please do check out my eBay store. List in the description. You do have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video.